Hello, everybody. This is Bradford Applegate, and I'm back with the Billion Seconds channel. So, last time we spoke about how, especially since Charlie Kirk's assassination, it's impossible to call yourself a Christian and vote Democrat. This is an established fact, and I don't see how you can even argue the point to the contrary. But since that time, it's been almost 2 months, only 2 months, since the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And it seems that already Republicans have relinquished the moral high ground and didn't bother to vote in easily winnable elections. New Jersey, Virginia, not to mention this disaster in Manhattan with Mamdani. This is less than 25 years after the World Trade Centers came down. And New York City has elected an Islamist communist as their mayor. And not for nothing, they deserve everything they get. I got a dear friend of mine, a Parole Project girl, that's such a sweetheart, and an intelligent girl, too. Unbelievably, she's texting, or rather, she's on Facebook, extolling the virtues of Mamdani and what such a wonderful thing is that he's gotten elected. And again, she's been brainwashed in her generation, like many people in her generation, and she's virtue signaling. Oh, because he's Muslim and because he's somebody different, we're automatically supposed to embrace their values, and they're never going to embrace ours. If we want to look what's going to happen to New York City, if this continues, look at London, England. They've not only lost London, but basically they've lost the whole country. It's been taken over by Muslims. They hate us and they want to kill us. And I can see it happening here. This whole thing with Sharia law, Sharia has to be outlawed. This is basically you want to secede from the United States of America. There should be one law. That's the law of the United States and local law also. And that's it. If you don't want to abide by the laws, go to another country. This is what Janet Reno killed all those people down in Waco, Texas about. They were basically trying to secede from the United States of America and have their own education system. And basically what it was is they didn't want to pay taxes. This is what happened. So millions of people didn't even bother to vote in these elections. I think 2 million people voted in New York City. Probably not even that, out of an 8 million population. So forget about the 80% Democrat voter registration. If Republicans would have gotten out and voted and had enough sense not to vote for Curtis Sliwa, he was a selfish idiot, and he should have withdrawn from the race. Cuomo might have won. But he's only marginally better than Mamdani because this is the direction that the Democrat Party is headed in. And they don't want to upset their radical, extremist, communist base now. You might as well say it is. And anyway, the stark contrast between what happened after Charlie Kirk was assassinated and, for example, the George Floyd incidents shows who's good and who's evil, who's law-abiding and who's not. Conservative, just the word means to support the system, basically. And that means law and order and the status quo. We're not the ones running around with radical ideas and throwing rocks in the streets and all this stuff. They are. And I couldn't help but notice the stark contrast between this voter turnout, or rather non-turnout, and the Turning Point USA rally that was held in, I don't know, Mississippi, Missouri. They filled up a huge football stadium on one of these big college campuses. This was the one that J.D. Vance did as Charlie Kirk used to do, and invited people who disagreed with him up to the podium, and I mean up to the microphone, and actually had debates with them live. This is the Vice President of the United States. Picture Democrats doing something like that. It just would never happen. But all that enthusiasm and all that, well-wishing, all this is lost unless we get our heads out of our asses and vote. This is the only way to make a substantial change. You have to actually not just talk about it and walk around and slap people on the back that agree with you. You have to get out and vote to make a difference. This is what the Democrats are good at, and this is what we suck at. We've got to stop this, really. And this whole big shutdown in the government proves the difference between the Democrats and the Republicans, too. Republicans, for everybody's information, have voted now 14 times, 14 separate different occasions to open the government. All 52 senators. I think Rand Paul, and they should get rid of him too, because he's not reliable. But all the Republican senators have voted to open the government, and with the exception of Fetterman, the Democrats have voted to keep it closed. This is a fact. All you have to do is watch C-SPAN. You can see the vote counted. Republicans have also sponsored a separate vote to fund the military and a separate vote to fund the SNAP program. And the Democrats have specifically voted against it. They said no to all of this stuff. And Republicans are so stupid that they don't get on national television and hammer this home. They should be talking about this every chance they get. But instead, mainstream media news outlets let them go on, give them the format to lie, and they don't call them out on it, which is inexcusable. We know who drive-by media's, whose corner they're in, and this is to be expected. Mamdani's mayoral victory was sponsored by all dark money. Soros, shadow governments, literally terrorist groups. He accepted overseas money, which he's not supposed to. But guess what? Even in this political climate, nobody's going to call him out and arrest him for campaign violations because he's a Muslim. And they don't want to be classified as anti-Muslim. It's just ridiculous. Republicans have to take the offense and, yes, do the nuclear option in the Senate where you only need 51 votes. They have to do away with the filibuster. The Democrats, if they ever get back in power again, God forbid, are going to do this immediately. We have to do this. We have to, so we can get voter ID, and all these completely necessary things, not to mention opening the government. They count, the Democrats, on illegals voting in our elections. This is why they don't want voter ID. It's completely ridiculous. There's no excuse for a grown person in the United States of America not to have an identification. Even illegal people do, but the problem is these sanctuary states, New York, California, etc., give them driver's licenses. And you can use your driver's license to vote. Not only can you use it to vote, they automatically put you on the voter rolls when you get a driver's license. Yes, they do. I live in New York State, and this is what they do. They actually let you sign up to register to vote when you get your license. Lastly, Trump is great, but with all he's done, the monumental changes that he's made, this is only a reprieve from what could happen. Again, freedom is only a generation away from being lost unless we stand up for it and fight for it. We have to start fighting again. We have to vote. We have to get in people's faces and challenge them when we hear them talking about stupid ideas in public. Just like being a Christian, it's nothing to be embarrassed about. We are right and they are wrong. And we've got to let the world know it unashamedly. evil can flourish when good men and women just remain silent. That's all they want us to do. We have to shout it from the rooftops and shine light on their darkness and make a change. This is a serious thing. We can still lose our country. Donald Trump's not going to be around forever, and we have to fight like hell. I'll see you later.